you'll gain access to an exclusive platform to showcase your brand to a global audience. Here's why you should sponsor our event. Travel Tech provided knowledge to more than 167 countries. Travel Tech is the largest online event in the travel and hospitality industry, reaching the milestone of over 1,500,000 unique impressions in its events. Delivering to the world knowledge, free education, inclusion, and effective networking for evolution in the industry. Being an excellent means of showcasing your brand. Over 80,000 people attended our live events, generating more than 19,000 hospitality and travel-focused leads.
In the bustling world of hotels, guests expect prompt, courteous service from booking to check-in, all the way to check-out. Meanwhile, the front desk is overwhelmed with emails, phone calls, check-ins, and guest requests. Introducing Guest Chat, a virtual assistant that helps your staff answer guest questions instantly via chat, 24/7, with a multilingual, fine-tuned white glove service. From booking to check-in, all the way past checkout. Join the revolution in hospitality service. Elevate your guest experience with Guest Chat today.
Welcome to the future of hotel marketing with HS Latam. Our self-managed, easy-to-edit websites are designed to captivate and convert visitors into customers. High-standard website with top 1 speed in the world. With our digital marketing solutions, elevate your online presence. Reach the right audience at the right time. Optimize your sales strategy to maximize revenue and efficiency. And with our advanced Power by Analytics, track your success and make data-driven. HS Latam. Transforming hotel marketing worldwide. HS Latam. Transforming hotel marketing worldwide. Transforming hotel marketing worldwide.
Introducing Travel Tech Academy, a platform offering free courses designed to share valuable knowledge from the best professionals in the travel and hospitality industry. Our mission is to provide inclusive learning opportunities for those who may not have the means to gain qualifications otherwise. With Travel Tech Academy, you'll have access to top-notch resources and insights that can help propel your career in the travel and hospitality sector. Over 3,500 professionals have already taken the course on our platform, acquiring knowledge and improving their professional profile. Many professionals, through Travel Tech Academy courses, have managed to find better job opportunities in the job market. For more information, visit traveltechacademy.com. And to become a sponsor of Travel Tech, get in touch through our website, traveltechspace.com, or by email at geraldo@traveltechspace.com. Travel Tech, what else?
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Alan Young. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Puzzle Partner Limited, and I'm pleased to be greeted and joined by an illustrious group of amazing hospitality professionals as we delve into a few topics today. Most importantly, the main one we're going to discuss is driving hotel profits, the critical link between guest experience and revenue. I have a plethora of notes all over the place, so I will be reading. I did not memorize everything. I'd like to introduce each individual, and then we'll go back and get them to give us a little bit more in-depth background about themselves. First and foremost, Adele Goodman-Milne, the top 25 extraordinary minds, HSMAI, USA Top 50 Influential Leaders in Hospitality back in 2021, and host of Get Great Guest Reviews, Top 30 Hospitality Podcast. Welcome, Adele.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with all of you.
Great. Next, we have Carlo. Carlo, I'm going to screw up your last name. It's Carlo Caroccia.
Very good.
There you go. Battle-tested general manager, French Quarter Inn and Spectator Hotel, one of the highest ranked hotels in all of TripAdvisor. Welcome, Carlo.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you the rest of the panel, and thank you, Travel Tech team. Let's have a great chat soon.
Awesome. And Christine Trippi, an energetic, to say the least. We've been talking to Christine. She brings energy every time she enters a room. An energetic entrepreneur and the founder of The Wise Pineapple, Christine is obsessed with outstanding hospitality, leadership, and operations. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you, everyone. I'm glad to be here.
And last but not least, Michael Curran. Michael is VP of Marketing Operations for Cogwheel Marketing Analytics. Michael spearheads strategic initiatives to optimize marketing operations, enhance efficiency, and drive growth across the organization. Welcome, Michael.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to a lively discussion.
I'm sure it will get lively. So, Adele, we're going to start with you. If you wouldn't mind briefing the audience about your background, and maybe you want to bring up some of the points back when you were working with the Library Hotel Collection, that'd be great.
My pleasure. I was in the hospitality industry for almost 40 years. And, in that whole time, from when I was just as a student and, a first-time director of sales, I thought that my job was just selling whatever I was giving. But everything changed when I went, so I spent the last 20 years at the Library Hotel Collection in New York City. Actually, we had hotels outside the country as well. And I learned that because TripAdvisor was born the same year that I started with them, that focusing on reviews was the free marketing that I always dreamed of. All we had to do was make us happy, and they will go out and do the marketing for us. And it was a phenomenal change that took over many years, but we learned and we honed our skills, and we used a certain methodology, which I called the 5-star review system, to become the highest rated hotel company in the world, according to Review Pro. We had the #1 hotel in the world on TripAdvisor. Actually, we had 3 hotels in the top 25 in the US on TripAdvisor, and was continually showing up on that top 25 list, something that Carlo knows something about as well, which is why I'm so happy to have him here with us today. And, it's just a methodology that I think any business, especially any hospitality business, can do to absolutely take their revenue optimization to a whole different level. And I just love to share tips on how we did it, because I think everybody can do it. You don't have to be a 5-star hotel to have 5-star results.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Adele, and welcome again.
Thank you.
Carlo, over to you.
Thank you, Alan. Good to meet everybody here virtually. I'm Carlo Croce, General Manager of French Quarter Inn and the Spectator Hotel, which are 2 luxury boutique hotels in downtown Charleston, South Carolina, part of our larger management company, Charlestown Hotels, which manages a little over 50 independent properties throughout the country. My path in hospitality has been like many, starting at the front desk, not really sure what I want to be when I grow up, and all of a sudden it clicked, and my grades got better in school. I declared my major. I met my now wife in graduate school, and almost 15 years later, here I am now. Have been very grateful to work for larger branded properties, including about 5 years at Mandarin Oriental. And for the last 7 years, I've been here in Charleston, South Carolina, at the helm of these 2 very unique and special properties in Charleston. One of the things growing up that my parents instilled in me was this idea of your reputation takes a lifetime to build and only a few minutes that it can be destroyed. And I've always taken that on a personal level and really applied that to strategic thinking in terms of approaching the business and approaching how not just reputation management, but reputation optimization and true focus on that should be a short, medium, and long-term strategy for every hotel operator. And you don't have to be in the luxury or the boutique space to focus on that. And I'm excited to be able to share some insights on that with everybody here.
Awesome. It's great to have a guy who's on the front lines as part of the panel. That's awesome. Christine, over to you.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Christine Trippi, the author of Yes is the Answer and the Chief Fun Officer here at the Wise Pineapple. And I'm always excited to talk about guest experience and how we can drive revenue through guest experience and, of course, our reviews and keeping our guests our advocates. Now, I also, very similar story, started almost 40 years ago. 37 years I've been in the business. I started as a van driver / laundry girl. And since I was 17 when I began, my mission has been to change the world one yes at a time. And I'm thrilled to talk with all of you today.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Christine. And Michael, last but not least.
Thank you. Michael Curran, VP of Marketing Operations for Cogwheel Marketing. I think I may be the youngster of the group. I'm entering my 30th year of being in the industry. But I seem to counter less and less of us lifelong hoteliers the longer I'm in this business. So all 30 years I've been here, went to school for this. I changed my major from sports medicine to recreation management, just on a whim, just to see what it was about. And I stuck with it, and I've been with it ever since. But I thoroughly enjoy talking about reviews and reputation management from a marketing strategy perspective. We'll talk deep into the data. I'm a data geek. I love getting deep into data. Decisions should be made as objectively as possible, is my belief. And there's plenty of data that points towards reputation management and actively engaging in your reputation management as a bottom line impact to your hotel. So looking forward to talking here.
Thanks so much. And finally, once again, my name is Alan Young. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Puzzle Partner Limited. We're a global marketing consultancy firm focused on B2B hotel and travel technology companies. We've been doing this for 10 years, and hopefully we've got another 10 in us. So we're having a good time. So let me go ahead and get into a few stats, and then we'll get into our first question. And Michael, you'll like this because you like data. The slightest increase in a brand's rating on major online review websites such as Google, TripAdvisor, and Yelp can create a significant impact in sales. According to the study from the Harvard Business School, a 1-star increase can contribute to a 5 to 9% increase in revenue. First one. Second one, 70% of travelers say online content influences their choices and where to stay. I think we see that everywhere. 81% of people frequently or always read reviews before booking a hotel. I never miss reviews when I book a hotel. 55% of travelers read several pages worth of reviews to get a better sense of public opinion. And 66% of travelers plan to spend more time reading reviews about destinations in the future. So not only is it hotels, it's destinations, it's activities, it's everything that surrounds our hotel ecosystem. So that being said, and Carlo, I'm going to go to you first. Give me a state of the union on what you think is happening within the online review landscape. Is it chugging along? Is it working well? Are people happy? Are they satisfied? Are they giving us enough information so we can make our operations better? What do you think's happening right now in the state of online reviews?
Yeah, great question, Alan, and thank you for that. I think like many facets of the hotel operation, and while it is hard to believe we are 4 years out from the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and obviously grateful that things are a lot better now than they were then, there's still this inflection point of how we ran hotels before COVID and how we're running them in the current state. And I think the way that hotel operators are using review platforms, how guests are using it has changed, certainly over time for that. I think that there are some challenges in terms of time management on hotel operators to be able to give the attention that they hopefully want to give to responding to all guest reviews, positive and negative. And I know some of my colleagues will get into some of those points as well. But I think this is a real opportunity to either, as a hotel business, use reputation management to your advantage or be left behind. I think there is going to be a growing gap of you either get it or you don't. I've seen that widen over the last couple of years. I think that dynamic will continue.
What's your take on it, Adele?
You know what? I think that right now, when people hear the term reputation management, it conjures up that they're trying to control something that is out of control, that they don't get to control the narrative about their property, and they want to do something to, make it go away. But I like the term that Carlo used. I use it a lot myself. Reputation optimization is a completely different thing. And it is the shift that we need to make as an industry, from trying to control something icky to trying to lead something extraordinary and empowering and elevating our revenue with that. It's exciting to optimize your revenue and exciting to optimize your guest satisfaction. And I think about what Christine just said a moment ago, changing the world one guest at a time. People want to feel, who work in hotels, that they are making the world a better place, a happier place, that they are doing something positive in the world. And they love getting those compliments back. That is one of the benefits that it's not just about the money, but if you think that it isn't costly to have that turnover always happening with your employees, if you think it's not costly to not keep your guests, but constantly have to replace them, and I don't know what it costs to get a new customer, to find a new customer. That marketing cost is getting higher and higher, I bet, with every year. We want to be able to minimize those expenses by keeping our customers. And that can be a lot of fun and exciting. And we really need to get 100% of our team on board. We have to think about how to make the reading of a review a map to how to get to where we're going of making guests happy.
Yes.
Christine, what about you? What do you think the state of the industry is related to reviews at this moment in time?
Yes, well, I have 2 points on that. One, what Adele was saying about the guest experience and associate experience. I can recall, which, by the way, when TripAdvisor came around, I was the director of fun at Key Lime Cove Water Resort, and we were the #1 hotel in all of Lake County on TripAdvisor. And then when I left to the Courtyard, a select service property, which was 30 years old, one of the oldest properties in the whole area, we became the #1 hotel on TripAdvisor. So it doesn't matter what your box is like. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new property or if you're 30 years old or if you need a renovation. It is about the people and the hearts inside your hotel that will make this happen. So that's one. And in thinking about retaining a customer is beneficial to your bottom line. So is retaining your team members. As our team members were being mentioned in their comments, people would literally be coming to our hotel saying, "Where is Kelly?" And I can remember Kelly crying at the front desk. She was so touched of the impact and how much she was changing the world. So it's just so motivating as well. Now, that's one point. State of the Union wise today, I feel like what I see in reviews, and this is on the response end, I think we're outsourcing it so much that all of our responses are so vanilla. They're all the "Dear John Doe, thank you, sorry, da da da." And I just think that if we can personalize it a bit more and be more specific and make them feel like they're really being spoken to, not just a John Doe letter, if you will, I think that's going to make a much bigger impact in your results.
Very true. Very true.
Absolutely.
And Michael, over to you about the world of marketing related to what's going on with reviews.
I have the feeling I'm going to be the one that's going to be geeking out on every one of these questions.
It's all good. It's all good.
So playing off of what Carlos said, there's only so many hours in every day. We still 24 hours in every day. That's not going to change. And we're getting more and more people in our industry who are not hoteliers, like those of us on this panel here. And it's difficult for them to get their head around the fact that we are one of the very few industries that deal with a 100% perishable product every day. You know, the guy that runs a fruit stand, okay, it's rapidly perishable, but he has a few days to sell all of his stuff. CPG, you can take years to sell all of your stuff. It doesn't matter. End of every day, every minute that passes, that's it. We're done. Those rooms are dead. We're never getting them again. So I say that because the reputation that your hotel has feeds into that perishability. That if someone finds a review that is 3.5 versus 4.5, and that's the bulk of it, all right, you've lost that room, and that room's not coming back to you. And right now, as an industry, we're on the cusp of another pretty seismic tech shift. I can remember the year, 3 years after I got into the business, the internet was barely a thing. And I vividly remember Marriott being the only hotel company that you could actually book a room online. That was it.
Oh,
You could
wow.
not book a room from anybody else. You could book through Expedia. Expedia was barely a thing, but Marriott was the only brand that could do it. And it helped them get a boost. And we're on that revolution right now where, that bookability became a big thing. And now with AI, and AI is going to be heavily influenced, in my view, on review content. You're already seeing companies like Reddit. Reddit just billions, I forget the exact number, but billions of dollars. They just sold all their content so AI can learn from it. Google is undoubtedly doing the same thing. Everyone that has content is doing the same thing. We are the ones that supply that content. The marketing content, the marketer in me, I'm not going to be able to influence like I used to. It'll play a part, but most of the authentic data that these AIs are going to learn from is going to be the millions upon millions of reviews globally that are put out there for every product. And once the AI learns something, it's going to be more difficult for it to unlearn it than it is for you to just do it the right way the first time. So that's scary to me, but also exhilarating at the same time.
We can definitely go down the AI rabbit hole, but we're going to try to keep everybody at least at some point focused on some revenue ideas related to that. I think from my perspective, when I look at the world, there's a shift everywhere, right? We're in the middle of it, whether it's social, whether it's economic, whether it's technological, et cetera, et cetera. And so, as hoteliers and as providers of services to hoteliers, we're going to have to be able to make sure that we're on top of our game at all time. It's pretty high pressured out there. But one thing is the technology rep. Max Starkoff, who's a friend of the family, so to speak, posted something that we didn't have technology in our title. So I'm going to plug it into one of the questions that I was going to tell everybody about. At what point does it become just a simple question of revenue production to have a reputation management strategy and technology? So at what point does that take? When you're looking at, it's all about the revenue. We've got to make sure that the revenue is increasing. And in order to do that, we have to have a reputation management strategy, and we have to have the technology behind it in order to help amplify that strategy. So is there a point that every hotel needs it no matter what? Adele, let's go to you.
Well, I think that it does make a big difference on the size of your hotel and the number of reviews that you're getting. When we were able to be the number one hotel brand in the world in terms of reviews, we actually did it without that technology. However, when the Hotel X Toronto, when we were working on opening that, they would get 125 reviews in a week. There would be no possibility to manage that at all, not even poorly, without the tools. However, the reputation tool is really important and really helpful for anybody that wants to use it, and you can start using it in a way that is not expensive. Any hotel, I believe, can afford some level of that service. However, there are a lot of technology tools that can also help you get your job done. That, for example, there's a tool called Beekeeper that probably some of you might be familiar with, and there's some, I think, Exonify, and it is a kind of a deskless communication system where the line team can put in ideas and share them with their their fellow hotel professionals in different departments, where you can share information about the latest things that you're doing, some inspirational things, maybe some beautiful flower arrangements or some beautiful presentations for a platter and catering, or a beautiful way of setting up the bed for a honeymoon couple. And it gives inspiration and excitement and cheering, and people will start to know what's going on in the fitness center. Just because you're a housekeeper doesn't mean that you shouldn't know what exciting things are going on in the fitness center. Or maybe you're a CEO or a general manager who wants to put an inspiring message out into the world to every single employee. In 2 minutes, you can record a message and send it out to people if you have the right communication tools. So while it's not a reputation tool, it is certainly a reputation optimization tool. And there are definitely things like that. Even, I think that general managers should be more involved in actually responding to the reviews. And I don't mean in writing, I mean listening to what the complaint is, digging down to the root cause, and finding something that you can do different tomorrow so that you have continuous improvement. And but I don't think they need to write every thank you to a 5-star review. So you can have different employees who are good writers help you, or you can have them use an AI tool. Like I wrote down the name Amara AI, as a tool to make it easier as you learn to write pretty and polite thank yous. But you don't need, but negative reviews need senior management, because only senior management can make changes happen. The ideas may come from the team, but they have to approve it, right? So they have to have skin in the game, which means they have to be involved in those 1-star reviews. I hope I made that clear. Did I answer your question? I think I did.
So, Christine, over to you. I want to ask you the same thing as it relates to having a plan, a strategy, a platform to use, and then to be able to track that, to make sure that you're driving revenue, because that's what this whole panel's about, is taking that review ecosystem to make sure that hoteliers can drive money out of their use of tools or people or places, etc. So what do you think?
Well, that's a great question. As far as the data to be able to show how much revenue, I would refer over to Michael, because he can show I'll give a couple of processes, but
Sure.
The status of actual revenue that comes in, it has been shown, and actually Michael was talking about this when we met previously, and I didn't know about this, that with a certain amount of responses, you're going to bump your way up the visuals. So your hotel will be placed before other hotels when you are active in your review sites, when you are actually responding to them. So that is going to make you seen more, which is going to bring in more revenue, because you're just going to have more eyes. Now, as far as processes, each hotel brand, and I know there's independent brands out there as well, but for the most part, the main hotel brands, they have a platform. If I may just give an example, Medallia is one that most of the main brands use. I know Hilton just moved to something different, but that tracks everything there. And also it's identifying what is your hotel's main platform that you want to make sure your presence is most on. So that's having that strategy of, where do I want to be spending the most time responding and tuning into those reviews? Is it TripAdvisor? Is it Google? What is your platform that is going to impact your revenue the most? If you're just out there spinning your wheels trying to give 2 reviews to every single different place where you can make a review, you're not going to get as much bang for your buck. Is that helpful?
Yeah, very much so. Michael, we'll go to you next.
Well,
bring on the.
I'm going to start with Search Engine Journal. I don't know if it was end of last year or just recently. They released their own review study that found about 60% of the people they researched withheld business when they perceived, not that the business was bad at what they did, or the hotel. This was specific to hotels, but when the perception was that they were bad, and that's entirely based around reviews. 60% of them withheld their business. That's a significant number to me. That has to deal with the lack of management response, that the perception, and this goes back years, Alan. This is that percentage number we were talking about a while ago. Yep. You have to get it roughly around 80%. You don't have to answer all of them, but at about 80% is when people perceive that even negative reviews, if they're addressed, it's okay. Mm-hmm. So that to me is that's the first thing that can be done, and the biggest data point, where it's inarguable. It hasn't changed for years, that this is the bottom line effect, the first of many bottom line effects that you can have. And the second one is that you cited the Harvard Business Journal one. Yes, it was specific to Yelp. However, I think the principle, Harvard doesn't produce studies that aren't statistically significant. These are people that are paid a hell of a lot more than we are to do their jobs. And they found that, with every 1 point change, you get almost a 10% bump, a little over 9% bump in revenue. So if the bump is true, the inverse has to be true. It would logically dictate every 1 point you drop, you're going to lose 9 to 10%. So that's I'll repeat those two, the number one and number two, all day long to every client I've got, every client I've had over the years, every GM I've worked with. That's the biggest part.
So there was a survey that was put out. There was a survey that was put out a few weeks ago. It said on average in the United States, 55% of reviews are actually being responded to. So if your number is saying 80, then we're not even coming close, which means either we're phenomenally understaffed, or we're not utilizing technology, or we're not utilizing service companies that can help us do this, or finally, to that point, we're not utilizing AI effectively. So Carlo, the man on the street, tell us what's going on in your properties related to technology and responses and strategy from a reputation perspective. And then if you could try to tie it into revenue growth.
Sure. I think it can maybe feel daunting to say we don't have a strategy for our reputation. How do we start one? But I think if you take a step back and go, we care about the guest experience, and we understand that a positive guest experience will lead to positive revenue results. How are we using existing tools that we have in place to understand what is making people happy when they're on property? What is turning people away while they're on property or in the booking process? And you can start to piece together some of these things that way. There are lots of tools out there in terms of, if we want to make sure that we are minimizing negative reviews, what tools are you using in place so that before your guest checks out, if they're satisfied or not? And do you have ways that you can communicate that? In terms of making sure where all your reviews are coming from, there are review aggregators out there. We use Revenate. They're a big player. That costs us $120 a month. That's not a lot of money. Just to know where your reviews are, and they have APIs with all the review platforms out there. And yes, I personally believe you should be personalizing your reviews, but if you need to set up templates and then make some tweaks from there and delegate from there, put in the upfront work, and then you can do that. And I think on the revenue side as well, are you using your systems in place for the review sites that let you sub-market? Do you have dedicated 800 numbers for each review platform? If you have an 800 call tree, that you know when you get and you're analyzing your phone data, this came from our TripAdvisor listing. This came from our Google listing, and you can track your revenue that way. In your review responses, and you can't do it for the OTAs, but for Google and for TripAdvisor, you should put in there, please book direct with us. If you don't, you're missing out that opportunity for your guests to get probably a lower rate and then a 15 to 22% commission somewhere else. So these are smart and easy to execute things that don't have to cost a lot of money. You just have to have the attention to connect the dots and bring some of your existing focus on the guest experience and tie that back into reputation and use that as a way to get better data and to drive more revenue because of it.
Christine, I held off. Did you want to jump in on here?
You know, I have a point. Well, I was actually going to ask Michael if he has a revenue estimate of what you'd make with that 80% and getting a bump in the listing. I don't know if you've got that kind of stats on your desk there, but I also have another point if we have time for it. But
Sure,
do you have a
sure.
revenue?
Well, that's where you can take that 60% number. That if 60% withholds their business, if they don't perceive you to be positive,
it's huge number.
And in any given market, you want to just look at one channel, just the amount of business you get from search engines. So be that meta bookings, be that paid search bookings, be that Google Map ad bookings. You could be talking even for smaller properties in any given market, you could be talking 50 to 100 room nights every month. And that's, you just calculate your ADR, your personal ADR for that.
Yes.
That's a significant price tag. And that's where that, again, the responding comes in. You just have to have them view you as positive. It doesn't guarantee the booking, but what you are guaranteeing, if you aren't reviewed as positive, you're not going to get it.
You're not.
You have to get that threshold, and then everything else you do, wins the booking. But
I have a stat.
Considered. Yeah.
Adele has a stat.
I have a stat. Expedia says that people will pay 35% more for a 4.4 out of 5 hotel over a 3.9. 35% more. And I have a couple of more. I think, this was from Trust You. 76% of travelers are willing to pay more for the hotel with higher review scores, as long as it's still in their budget and their location that they want. And that 3.9 times more likely to book the higher rated hotel, given that it's in the right location and in their budget. That's a lot, 3.9 times. And McKinsey and Company said that hotels who had high ratings, had cross-trained guests who were responsive to, tailoring things for guests and fixing things when guests give them feedback, are 3 times more profitable than their counterparts. That's McKinsey and Company. So it is really something. But you know what? It's not, responding to a review. We are talking about responding to the review, just responding to the review, that it has magic all in itself, just responding to it. But truly, as Christine said, we're responding with these cut and paste, and our, consumers are not ignorant. They can look at it and they can discern for themselves that response could have been written in another continent. Yeah. You want to have a response that shows compassion and leadership in action. I heard what you're saying. I see the problem. this is what I've done since then. This is how I'm planning to move forward. And it makes that kind of response. I had people come back to me saying, I was so impressed by the compassion and leadership that you showed in your response to a 1-star review that I'm canceling on my reservation elsewhere and booking it with you. Because I know if anything goes wrong, and things do go wrong, that I'm in good hands. Do they have the feeling of being in good hands because somebody, had the night auditor cut and paste some blah thing? It actually says, me, the leadership, me, the general manager, the people in charge of running this place are not actually looking. It actually decreases. What I want to also say that the Oxford Hotel in Bend, Oregon, not this year, but for 10 years prior, was in the top 25 on TripAdvisor, and they were not responding to reviews externally. But customers could see that they were internally listening to feedback and making changes and continuous improvement, and they were empowering their team. They knew this not by what they said. They knew it from what they did. And what you do is more important than the words on the sheet. In my team had one team, if we needed to, would respond to positive reviews or not. Better not to respond than first not take care of the complaint reviews. Even a 4-star review can have a complaint in it. Even a 5 can have a suggestion how we can do things better. That was always the number one priority. Get those done and don't worry about the 5-star reviews and the 4-star review responses. What's more important is what we learn and what we do.
So, Christine, if it's okay, I'm going to go to another question, but hopefully this is kind of for you. How do we use complaint reviews to sell more? Because I assume I'm the type of person that, I get grumpy, and the likelihood of me slamming somebody online with a review is probably higher than if I have an okay experience. And that's sometimes human nature. So how do you leverage those complaints in order to help people, possibly even drive more revenue?
Well, I have a 4-step process to sell more through complaints. Would you like to hear it?
We'd love to hear that.
I love it. And also, I need to just say this about what Adele just said. We would have people come to our hotel every week saying that they booked with us, not because of the review, but because of our response to the review. Every week we heard this. So your responses really do matter. And I'm just going to slide this in really quickly because I think this is so important to hear this message. We leaders, I know I've done this for 37 years, and I know you get that bad review or you get that bad survey, and it breaks your heart. Everything we do and are measured on are these surveys and these reviews. But if you can separate yourself from that feeling of maybe anger, maybe a little fight in you, if you can separate yourself from that and look at it with love. These people are our partners. They are telling us this because they want to be our customer and they want for us to be the best and they want to come back. And if you can look at those comments with love and go, gosh, that was great feedback and I can do something with this. This is going to be more of a revenue generator than anything because you're going to be improving your operation and your people and building leaders. So I just think this is so important and we need to hear it because sometimes you just look at it and you're, ugh. But if you can look at it with love, I literally just before this got off of a operations deep dive call with a hotel and we found so many great golden nuggets. And every time we came to one, we're like, oh, thank you for that great feedback because that's going to help us do something different. So I just want to remind everybody to look at it with love because it will help you grow your business and your people. Okay, so now we're going to sell through through our bad reviews. Okay, if you got a bad review, this is a great opportunity. One, to talk through this with, respond and talk through it. But most likely, you have actually resolved the problem with that guest privately, and then they wrote a review, or they wrote the review and then you contacted them privately. When you are responding to a negative review, and even a positive one, you are more responding to that future guest than the actual guest who wrote the review. I hope you're tracking with me there. So your response is geared. I want you thinking about the future guest, the person who's reading the review, going, "Should I stay here?" You've probably already corrected it with the guest and hopefully retained their loyalty to come back again. Now, the review that's there, you want it to be for the person who's going to read it and make a decision about your hotel on that. So when you're writing that review, think of that future guest in your mind. Then number two, is there anything in the review that's positive? Can you pick out anything in there that's positive? That's where you want to begin. Thank you so much for this compliment, that compliment, whatever that might be. I'm glad you enjoyed this. And I say in my book, Yes is the Answer, make friends first. So begin there with a positive, a highlight. Then you want to present the negative item or the problem in a positive way. And you want to talk about how you resolved it or what you've changed and how you're making a difference from their comment. Then you want to end it with selling. So on your next visit, we would love for you to enjoy our deluxe spa and fitness center, whatever it is you want to promote for that next guest. So now you're telling that future guest that there was this problem, you've corrected it, you've got processes, you care about the safety and comfort of our guests, and oh, they've got an awesome spa, or oh, I'm going to book direct, like Carlos said. So it's a 4-step process. Make friends first, think about that future guest, spin your negative in a positive and how you resolved it, and then sell something else. Oh, you're going to love our free breakfast. You're going to love our grounds. You're going to, whatever that might be, sell.
So that's pretty awesome. My challenge is the fact that none of this, as I mangle my metaphors, and I do this quite often, is rocket surgery. If you offer great service, if you go ahead and deliver on the marketing promise of the hotel, if you respond to reviews, if you have a great product, if it's clean, if it, properly located for the type of traffic that you want, et cetera, et cetera. If you do all that, everything should fall into place, right? And, obviously responding to those reviews, hopefully all of them will be positive. But that isn't the case. So, Michael, from that perspective, and, smaller independent hotels, cool boutique hotels don't have the marketing budgets of the big players or the OTAs, et cetera, but they can still try to play on this playing field. But once again, it seems like what we're doing shouldn't be that difficult, but it almost is monumental. How do you go ahead and look at trying to tame that beast in order to, once again, ensure that you're doing things right on that side of the equation, the reputation side of the equation, but then also driving revenues?
Well, in terms of services, there are a plethora of third parties that, for low cost, we're not talking thousands a month. We aren't. We're talking some $100, $200 a month. They will at least monitor things for you. So monitoring what's out there, and again, you don't have to answer everything. So for the cost of one coffee setup for an internal meeting, you can monitor what's out there and be alerted that they'll tell you these are the 3 that you need to respond to. The rest of them, don't worry about it. Or these are the 8 that you need to respond to, and that can be done. That can be done on a weekly basis. That can be done on a daily basis. Whatever that is, whatever works into your schedule. That's the simplest way that I tell everyone. You don't have to block time in your schedule, and they will proactively do it for you. You'll get a nice summary sheet. All you have to do is even voice dictate something back. They'll tweak it to make it sound, professional, a little less casual. it's an investment of literally a matter of minutes every week. And that's I can't that part I can't reinforce enough. And it's just the fact of taking that step. And I think it relates a little bit to this point that one of the big things I tell Carlo, no offense, you're a good one, but GMs tend to not understand that they don't use reviews. We don't use reviews. None of us in this industry use reviews. I don't use reviews. I know where I'm going. People don't do that. For the love of God, you are not your guest. Please get it through your head. We work in this every day of our lives. We know, yes, we know the ins and outs. We are not our guest. Just take the time, invest that $150 to get these people to do that monitoring for you. And then the rest of the numbers I've already spewed out, and there's a bunch more. They'll start engaging. It's like an automatic domino effect. It will start producing.
So Carlo, if we're getting everything right, theoretically it should work, but why aren't we getting everything right?
Sure. I mean, the world is an imperfect place and hotels are extraordinarily imperfect. I do think that, many hotels have the benefit of having structure and having different types of leaders doing specific roles. But for a lot of hotels, and especially in the last 4 years, that hasn't been the case. And I think that's why all the points that the rest of these wonderful panelists are sharing of how do you make small but smart and strategic investments that if you don't have the time, there are ways that you can get that time back. I don't think that any particular hotel operator is actively saying, I don't want to do this, but I think they're saying more, I don't feel that I have the time commitment or the resources to be able to commit to it. I do think sometimes it's easy to have our internal mindset of, well, guests don't understand our business. Guests, don't understand what we do for this particular property. And while I can understand that, my response to that would be, but you have the opportunity to tell, as Christine said, to tell future guests what you stand for, why you stand for it. And while for the most part, I agree with what Christine says, we've had negative reviews before that have been just flat out untrue and flat out gross mischaracterizations of what the scenario happened. Mm-hmm. Diplomatically, professionally, tell the world that this is wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't refuse to serve you. You were falling down because of over intoxication before you came into the door. We treat the safety and security of all guests very important. I'm sorry that this disappointed to you, but this is something that's important to us. And you'll gain more customers that way because of that, as we've all shared. But I do think these type of conferences and kind of platforms help show that it can be less of a daunting task, that if you don't know where to start, there are simple ways that you can start, whether that's yourself, whether that's through technology, whether that's through third-party, trusted partners to help you along the way.
Right. I remember I started my career off at Four Seasons as the minibar guy for a long time ago, and my boss had a real issue with air vents, and if there was any kind of crap around an air vent, he would lose his mind. And to this day, it doesn't matter what establishment I walk into. It could be a doctor's office, it could be a hotel. First thing I look at is an air vent. And I've actually given reviews based on bad air vents, right? It's like, but that's kind of the world in which I live. Mm-hmm. So we have about 5, 6, 7 minutes left. What I would like to do is just to kind of go around and everybody, kind of give your statements on, how you think the world needs to change related to reputation and revenue, or what can people do? We've already got a few tips and tricks, which is amazing. But I know that Adele, you're knee deep in this stuff as well. And it would be lovely for you to kind of give people your take on what hoteliers can do in order to maximize not only their offering, but their revenue?
Well, I think that the first thing we all need to do is establish for ourselves and in the minds of our team, what kind of reviews do you want people to say about you? Who are we? We are the kind of people that always do this. We are the kind of people that want to make everybody feel super welcome. We're the kind of people, whatever it is you want to say, that you have the most welcoming team, the most flexible kitchen, whatever it is that you want to say. You want people to say. Even Cicero said it, God knows how many years ago. If you know, to have a good reputation, you have to endeavor to be the kind of person that makes people say those nice things about you. And then you have to share that with your team, and it has to be in a way that excites them and motivates them and engages them and invite them to join you in a culture of collaboration and caring and continuous improvement, because you cannot do it from your executive office. They do it 100%. They make the guests happy. So you need to be having that conversation every single day, exciting them every day in the morning meetings, celebrating all the wins of the 5-star reviews you have. Show them how many 5-star reviews you already have as proof that they are capable of it. And now, instead of doing that for half of the guests, we can do it for 80% of the guests. Now we can do it for 90% of the guests. What percent can we make 5-star reviews instead of 4-star, which are not love? They're just neutral. And certainly instead of complaints, and let people know that it takes some work up front. But when you learn from the reviews and you make changes to prevent those complaints from happening again, you are saving yourself time over and over again. You're saving yourself time from having to chase down new companies and guests to come to your hotel. You're saving yourself time to find and train new employees, because now you have a well running machine where everybody is happy to be producing at their highest level, giving great ideas and giving excellent service, and making loyal customers who will pay more and stay more and say more nice things about you on all the online reviews.
Michael, what about you?
Well, where do I start? I'll start back with the AI point. You know, we're at a tipping point with that. It's not this year. I'm not being one of those futurists that I don't like. Futurists tend to say all these things are going to happen next week. Well,
or
no.
There's a dartboard. There could be a large dartboard as well.
I just throw it in. Like it's coming. We have a few years, but
that's right.
Now's the time to get ahead of it. I'll give an example, practical example for operators. Back in the day, I was with Ambridge Hospitality, and there was a new neighborhood in Houston, the Energy Corridor. It didn't exist. It was a brand new thing, brand new development. The idea was all these oil companies, energy companies in Houston, that's where most of them were relocating. So when it first started, we took the time to optimize ourselves towards that concept. And for about 2 years, didn't pay off. However, long about year 3, year 4, it became a thing. People were searching for it. And lo and behold, the fact that we were the first there, we had the most history, we got a monopoly on just about every search that happened. So I say that to bring relevance to the AI point, that AI and reviews, AI has to learn from something. It's intelligent by its, the connotation, it's artificial intelligence, but it has to be taught from something. That teaching is going to come from content. The content comes from us, sort of, but these reviews, the blocks and blocks of reviews that are happening. If you don't start taking it seriously, the clock is running out. You should have been taking it seriously for years based on all the data we've been talking about and everything everyone has been saying here, but clock's running out. Once AI learns something, it's going to be, in my opinion, exceptionally hard to get it to be unlearned. And that's a whole nother effort. Now you're talking about adding another effort that you didn't have to add if you would have just done it from the start. You have to get it to unlearn everything about you and then learn what you want it to learn again. So that's one thing. And I'll leave everyone with a simple math equation. So only according to Inc. magazine, something I read recently, only 1 in 10 happy guests will actually leave a review. Only 1 in 10. And in pure math, the pure mathematics says that for every 1-star review that you get, you need to have 4 5-star reviews just to bring it back to where you were to begin with. So calculate that out. You need to have 40 happy people to counter the effects of every one nasty person who may legitimately have a beef with you, and they're just being nasty about it. You know, it could be a real issue. But my point is, it's back to the data, back to the math. You can't argue with it. You can't manipulate numbers like that any other way than the way I'm saying them. That's it. That's the hard fact. That's what you have to take seriously now because of what's coming down the road.
Understand. Thank you, Michael. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's good.
That's really good. Christine.
Yes, thank you. Michael is our stats guy. I am your steps girl. I've got a 5-step process here for you. Right now, you might be thinking this is daunting and you don't know where to begin or where to do. 5 steps are going to help you in anything in your life. 1, what's your vision? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be number 1 on TripAdvisor? Do you want number 1 in Google? Identify what your vision is, because you can't win if you don't know the goal. So number 1, get your goal. Number 2, strategy. What I mean by strategy is what's in your control. Can you respond to every single review? Probably not. But what is your strategy? Do you have a platform that can help you? Do you want to divide up and delegate with the team? What is that strategy? There's every mix and match depending on your box and if you're a beach property or you're a suburb property. So it just depends on you and your box, but identify what's in your control, and then you'll be able to deliver number 3, which is the plan. How do I win every day, every week, every month? We have that I want to be number 1 in the world down the road, but you're going to get lost between now and then. So you need to know, how do you win today? If you can keep checking those boxes every day, I won today, I won today, I won today, it's going to lead you to number 1 or wherever it is you're dreaming of. Then you got to measure. Step 4 is measure, and step 5 is adapt, correct, fix. You're not getting lift from what you're doing, go back, change it, adjust, and fix it. And then the last thing I'm going to say is a bonus for you. Have a lot of flipping fun. Have fun in your responses. Have fun with your teams. Have fun with your guests. Create experiences that are so extraordinary. And by that, I just mean fun. I don't mean the super huge upgrades and super huge amenities. Just get out there and love on your people, and it will pay off.
5 steps sound eerily like a risk mitigation process, so it's pretty awesome. Carlo, over to you.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me follow Christine, because I definitely can't reach her energy, but that's okay. I will do my best. I think everyone here has brought up some. No one can match Christine, but that's why Christine's wonderful. I think with this, to tie in a little bit of what everybody said and more, I know all the marketing people and all of the corporate people listening to the call will like hearing this. We talk a lot about, in our industry, telling a story. Using reviews, how you respond to them, how you connect that, is how you tell the story of your business. Be in control of that story. Don't let other people tell your story for you. Have the guests be part of that and use that to your advantage to be the type of business that you want to be today, tomorrow, forever. And I think with all these specific tips and tricks, there are ways to do that. To Christine's point, understand where you are now and where you want to be. And if you need help getting there, raise your hand and say, I don't know necessarily what I want, but I know I want it to be different than it is now. And that's okay. And that's okay. And then you can start to grow from there, both in terms of your reputation And as we've discussed, that's going to lead to more money in everybody's pocket. And that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Christine, we have 25 seconds left, so go.
Okay, very quick. I believe Gen Z checks 3 reviews before they make any purchase, So this is what I want to also spin this really quickly. What do your hotel reviews look like for being an associate there? What does it say about you on Glassdoor? Are you paying attention to the reviews your team members are leaving about you? Because if you want to staff your hotel, you really need to be paying attention to that too. That's it.
Okay, cool. For Carlo, Michael, Adele, and Christine, I'm Alan Young. Thank you very, very much for your time. And thank you, Travel Tech, for having all of us. Have a great day.
Welcome Travel Tech EU and Canada 2024 for edition,
where the transformation begins.
By becoming a sponsor at Travel Tech, you'll gain access to an exclusive platform to showcase your brand to a global audience. Here's why you should sponsor our event. Travel Tech provided knowledge to more than 167 countries. Travel Tech is the largest online event in the travel and hospitality industry, reaching the milestone of over 1,500,000 unique impressions in its events. Delivering to the world knowledge, free education, inclusion, and effective networking for evolution in the industry. Being an excellent means of showcasing your brand. Over 80,000 people attended our live events, generating more than 19,000 hospitality and travel-focused leads.
In the bustling world of hotels, guests expect prompt, courteous service from booking to check-in, all the way to check-out. Meanwhile, the front desk is overwhelmed with emails, phone calls, check-ins, and guest requests. Introducing Guest Chat, a virtual assistant that helps your staff answer guest questions instantly via chat, 24/7 with a multilingual, fine-tuned white glove service. From booking to check-in, all the way past checkout. Join the revolution in hospitality service. Elevate your guest experience with Guest Chat today.
Welcome to the future of hotel marketing with HS Latam. Our self-managed, easy-to-edit websites are designed to captivate and convert visitors into customers. high standard website with top 1 speed in the world with our digital marketing solutions. Elevate your online presence. Reach the right audience at the right time. Optimize your sales strategy or maximize revenue and efficiency. And with our advanced Power by Analytics, track your success and make data-driven. HS Latam. Transforming hotel marketing. Worldwide. HS Latam. Transforming hotel marketing. Worldwide. Transforming hotel marketing. Worldwide.
Introducing Travel Tech Academy, a platform offering free courses designed to share valuable knowledge from the best professionals in the travel and hospitality industry. Our mission is to provide inclusive learning opportunities for those who may not have the means to gain qualifications otherwise. With Travel Tech Academy, you'll have access to top-notch resources and insights that can help propel your career in the travel and hospitality sector. Over 3,500 professionals have already taken the course on our platform, acquiring knowledge and improving their professional profile. Many professionals, through Travel Tech Academy courses, have managed to find better job opportunities in the job market. For more information, visit traveltechacademy.com. And to become a sponsor of Travel Tech, get in touch through our website, traveltechspace.com, or by email